need to go into a standard that I have a standard that, this is my line. And if we inch up to that and then over it, like we're done. So, but I know right now, all I know is that when I get pissed, we're done. That's my line, but I don't want to get pissed. You know what I mean? I don't want to wake up mildly pissed and try and sit here and figure out why am I mildly pissed. So anyway, that's my good news. So yours.
Well, my good news is offer was accepted. We're under contract. We're closing December 29th.
Happy New Year.
Yes. And she is trying me. She's like, she picked the neighborhood. She picked, like, this is the house she and her husband like. And then she's like, what's the neighborhood like? I was like, I cannot legally tell you. I will not tell you.
Right.
I sent her websites, and I sent her the different houses that were for sale in the neighborhood.
Right.
So I was like, not doing it.
Nope. Can't. I actually adored, because I wasn't licensed for a couple of years when I lived in Virginia and I was a team leader. I let my Washington, which I never should have done, I let my Washington brokers lapse. But the thing that I really loved about it is I wasn't licensed in any state. So I could say anything I did wanted to about any neighborhood.
Right.
What, I'm like, that neighborhood sucks. I can actually tell you that. And I'm licensed again. And I don't know if it applies just in your state, but I don't say anything at all because I'm like, no, I am licensed. You know what I mean? Even if it is halfway across the dang country or 3/4 of the way, still won't do it. So there's our K. Let's get K in this morning. Good morning, sunshine. That's you, Kay.
Oh, I didn't recognize I was bright and shiny today.
Good morning, sunshine. How are you?
I'm good.
What you got going good? Well, hang on one second. Look how gorgeous Bree looks.
I know, Bree looks fabulous. She must be on her way to a meeting leading something.
Exactly.
I know. Well, what do I have good going on? Well, I met with my little 88-year-old guy that I'm trying to find him a house. And of course, everything in his price range was crap. So I'm back to the drawing boards. I think he's got another 20,000 he's not telling me about. So I pulled up some other things, but I'm trying to get my head straight because I got into a negative thinking thing. And
I did too. So I'll share mine briefly and you want to share yours?
Sure.
I got pissed off. Bree's already heard this. I got pissed off, mildly pissed off. Here's my good news because I got mildly pissed off at the world this morning. And I'm mildly pissed off because the stupid doctor that I've been digging around with for my back, which I've been going to over a year, I've done everything they said to do, and they're just inept. And in Florida, you have to go to special doctors, but they, right before, 2 minutes before I was getting ready to leave for an MRI going one direction, which is on where they told me to go, they called me up and just happenstance, I happened to say, can you check my appointments for me? And they're like, no, you're supposed to be going for the MRI, the rush MRI, completely the other direction. So I would have driven, had I not picked up that phone call, and I don't always pick up their phone calls, I would have driven the completely wrong direction to not get an MRI, to have this whole thing delayed until January because they put a rush in for my MRI. And I'm like, the piece of paper says this. And they were like, nope. I'm like, I'm telling you, I'm looking at it right here. This is what it says. I'm like, nope. And and then I can't get in for another appointment. And I'm just like, I'm done with you. But I'm glad because the mildly pissed off at the world was what I needed to process through to go, what is going on? To go, you're done. You're done. I've messed with you long enough. You're done. So I'm going to grab all my medical records today, and then I'm going to run up to the hospital. I'm going to get it set up at the hospital that my friends around here are like, stop screwing around with that. Go up here to this hospital up in Gainesville. That is like the hospital to go to. So that's my mildly pissed off story. All right.
Well, I wish I'd gotten a little mildly pissed off. I just kind of went into a negative thinking that, I can't do this. I don't have the energy. I'm running this way. I'm running that way. You know, I can't even get the rentals done. And I don't think there's anything wrong with what I'm doing. I don't, but it's like I get these people on the phone, I talk to them, I send them the rental criteria because I'm being a little more picky before who I'll just run up and go show an apartment to. And then I never hear from them again. Or I'll show them the apartment and I'll send them the rental criteria and I never hear from them again. And it's like everybody needs to be chased, followed up on, etc. And you know, I need to get more organized. So that's one of the things I've got to get done to make it easier for me to follow up. But I'm so sick and tired of chasing people. People just don't follow through. They don't call, they don't do crap.
No, they don't. Let's talk about your follow-up. Morning, PF, sweetie. Let's talk about your follow-up for a second. These people, do you have the ability to dump them into KV? When you follow up, are you following up with email or text or phone calls? What are you doing?
I'm doing phone calls and I'm doing text.
What if it was just emails and texts? Because text hits their phone, they see it.
Yeah, I know
You
they do.
Come into KV Core and set up an automated system that it just does it automatically, texts and calls them automatically every day, 2 days, 3 days until they opt out.
I don't know. It was a big deal for me to get down. I've got them in my phone, and I guess I need to do another download of my phone contacts to get into KV Core. I thought I had it synced so they went in automatically, but I don't know. I don't know how to check it. I just.
So your girl, grab a new phone number or whatever, dump it in, tell your girl to double check it and put her on that.
Okay.
You built it. You literally said, I want a text to go out, 3 days a week and Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or whatever, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, whatever it is you want, or whatever you want. I want the text to say this, this, this. And in between, I want 2 emails to say this, this, this. And then I want my last follow-up one to go. It seems like you're interested. If you are, please let me know and we'll continue, working with you. And if you're not, that's fine. And I wish you all the best or something like some follow-up. I used to do a text that said, apparently you've been eaten by an alligator because I have tried.
Yeah.
To get anything. But put your girl on setting that up. You don't do that, but systemize that part of it.
Okay.
Let's see if we can't get you back because I feel catch up with PF. I was mildly pissed, which means that's time to make changes because the mildly pissed means something's wrong. And I don't like living my life mildly pissed or waking up with this mild pissed off thing going on. So when I get that, I'm like, we're making changes now. And I was just telling Bree earlier, what I would like to learn is to make the changes before I get mildly pissed. So Kay is like, mildly going through whatever bad emotional, or not bad, but not happy emotional places. And so to me, that's like change. Like you need to make a change because your body's trying to tell you, look, something's up, so change something. So that's what we're going. So Pia, my good news was I was pissed. Bree's good news is she's got a deal that's just one of the contract will close the 29th. Kay's got her thing that she's going to get her assistant on. What's yours?
My good news?
Yep.
See, I should have written it down because I was like, oh, I have a couple of good news yesterday. And then I forgot what the second one was. And I said yesterday what my first good news was, and which I'm forgetting also right now.
You did.
When I just got out of bed.
So I slept in today too. I mean, I've been up for almost 2 hours now, but I did sleep in today too. It's my first time I've slept in a long time, so I totally get it. But I got to tell you, with the no hair, you get to look good no matter if you rolled out of bed just a second ago or not,
Right. That's true. I guess I'll make that my good news. I just rolled out of bed and I don't look like I just rolled out of bed.
Nope. Very slightly jealous.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, no kidding.
But I like this conversation because I am the person who blows up. Oh, we lost Bree. Oh, she switched over. She switched over to a computer. That's why.
You were the person that blows up.
Yeah, I feel like I am always mildly pissed. You know, that's my baseline, mildly pissed.
My husband
And
is too.
So I make, you know, I work on making the choice to be positive.
Mhm.
That's, you know, that's
Yeah.
positive attitude. That's the choice. You know, I did the Landmark Forum many years
I've
ago.
never
How
done
did
that.
it?
and I want to do that. Come on.
Oh, well, for you, you will be, if you do it, you would make another leap into another dimension because you already are ahead of the general population
Everybody
in
I've
terms
told-
of self-discovery and stuff like that. So
Thank you.
uh,
Everybody I've ever talked to has told me that. Like they've all told me, yeah, you need to go do this. Anyway,
well, but for you, because you're already ahead of everybody else, it will be like another dimension.
I wouldn't
Uh,
call it a head. I've spent decades not knowing what my emotions are at all and just going off of my thoughts. And so now I'm trying to dig into what those are and what those mean. So it's just a deliberate shining the light inside because people
Right.
ask me, my husband all the time is like, you know, what do you feel about that? Let me think. And sometimes it takes me a day or two to figure out how do I feel about that. But anyway, so go on, but enough of me.
Yeah. So, you know, it's taken me a while to acknowledge to myself that that's my baseline, mildly pissed.
Mhm.
And so, and to listen to you guys talk about how to address the situation before you get mildly pissed is helping me think about like, oh, how do I address the situation before I blow up? Because I go from mildly pissed to nuclear. Like, oh, that was the other good news that I just remember. Yes. I have my glass of water in front of me on my computer, and which is actually good. It's timely, but and I spilled my glass of water a couple of nights ago all over my desk, including my keyboard, everything got soaked. And because I normally go from mildly pissed to nuclear, I would have put my fist right through the keyboard and broken it, which I've done in the past. I have broken equipment because I did something stupid. But this time, I was like, oh, okay. Pick up the keyboards, shake it on the floor, grab a towel, pat dry everything. And then it's like, huh, how come I didn't blow up? Oh, maybe because I'm hanging out with positive people every day of the week.
I love that story.
Yeah, which means you guys.
I
You know,
love
it's like, oh, that was my other good news that I was thinking about writing down, but I didn't.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, I didn't blow up when I did something stupid. So
I'm gonna correct
I'm
you.
making a progress.
You are making a progress and you just made a mistake. It's not
Yeah.
something stupid. You just made a mistake. That's all it is. It's just a mistake. Yeah. Last I checked, you're human beings.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Wow.
loving what you, Kay and Bree and you are all sharing about this situation because it's like, oh, synchronicity.
Yeah, exactly. I am going to come up with one of the things that I shared a while ago is that I tend to allow myself, I used to tend to allow myself, well, I'm going to back up. And I know I shared this at some other point. And when we went to the Grand Canyon or Waimea Canyon or any other canyon, I don't go to the edge and look over. Like I do not do that. I stand 20 feet back and I look over. And my husband goes right up to the edge. And looks over. Yeah, and he's all fine with that. Well, I realized that mentally, I allow myself to go up to the edge. And then I go, like you said, like nuclear, and my nuclear doesn't, it probably, well, okay, I can't get very pissed off. But I will but I'll break down mentally. Like I'll literally like, you know, bawl or whatever. And which I don't hardly ever do, but I realized that what I was allowing was myself to get to the edge of the canyon and then I would fall into the canyon mentally. And then I was like, wait, you don't even stand next to a canyon, a real canyon. You like back here, right? Going, no, view's good. Like, because I know that there could be some weird fluke thing and the whole cliff fall away. I understand that physically, but somehow I don't emotionally. And emotionally is a better word than mentally in this situation. So I want to come up with a standard or a gosh, there is another word that a guy uses, and it's not rules, it's not standards. Ray Dalio, principle. That's the name of the book. Ray Dalio talks about principles. And what principles are is when a situation happens in his life, and he's this brilliant guy that works in commodities exchange. I mean, brilliant guy, right? And he's built the whole thing himself. So anyway, he has principles. And when a situation happens, he takes a step back, he examines it, and he says, what are principles that I can put into place? So if I have this exact same situation again, I can run it through a logical set of principles. Now I'm going to give you a little bit of background on him. What he did was he set up a computer system. He first bought, I think it was corn commodities. And what he did was he said, well, the more information I have, this is way prior to computers being the thing that computers are. This is like punch card computer thing with that's how he did it. And he set up a system where he started tracking all the weather data and the weather predictions and a bunch of other stuff. And he built an algorithm with punch cards in a computer to tell him when to buy and sell corn commodities. That's how he built it. So he looked at corn, and then he looked at logically, how can I predict what is going to happen? And what information do I need to gather? What formula do I need to build to predict that? And then he took that same exact concept and applied it to his life. So how do I build a formula so that if I run across the same situation again, I can just run it through this mental formula of check boxes. Did it do this? No, then A, well, like a flow chart, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, do that. And he built principles around his life and business. When to hire somebody, when to fire somebody, when to do this, when to do that. I want to build a principle in my life so that I don't get mildly pissed off and then have to make a change. I want to build a principle so that I can realize that change is coming. I did it in real estate. Like I knew I need to fire this person. I knew if you make one more step, you're going to get fired. That's what I knew. I knew how to pull back to that level with the client. I only fired like 2 or maybe 3 clients ever out of hundreds and hundreds, right? It wasn't like I fired a ton, but I knew when I got to that point that at that point, I drew a line in my proverbial sand. It was like one more step and you're toast. You don't know it. You just know that we've had some conversations and that this is not going well, that we've had conversations. It wasn't like I didn't talk fire. It was like, no, we've talked. But I also knew that I'm done now. You get one more step and you're toast. And then the 3 people crossed the one more step and they were toast. But it felt good. I felt in control. I was in control of the situation. It wasn't that I'm in control of them, because I'm not. But I was in control of me and my response and what I could do about it. And I could take my life and say, to me, it was a boundary of no, my life, you are not worth that. You're just not. And that was actually my principle. My principle was when my shifting changed from, hey, it's a win-win, you're a pain in my butt, but it's still a win-win. Everybody's going to be okay, even though it's rough or it's this or that, it's still a win-win. As soon as my shift changed, my mindset changed to, I've put too much time in this to lose it. The second I felt that was my principle. All right, we're done. And we're not done immediately. You have one more step. And if you ever cross over like that line, then we're done, because you now have moved into I'm moving away from a win-win to a lose situation. And I do not want to be in my life in lose situations. That's not where I want to live my life. So principles, Ray Dalio kind of gave me that concept of building that. So I want to build one around this when people take inch by inch by inch by inch, which is what my ex did. It's what my mom did. It was always inch by inch by inch by inch. It's hard to recognize that one,
Yeah. Yeah, that little.
You're talking,
drip.
but you're muted. Go on, honey. Go on, PF. Yes, PF?
That drip by drip is like that story about how water wears out rocks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And also,
Wow.
remember Chinese water torture? Just this, which supposedly made you crazy. You know? And yeah, it's just a little drop of soft, silky water. Inch by inch by inch by inch by inch, Grand Canyon. Yeah.
That's why, that's how I feel like, from my time to, my kids wear me down. Some of these clients wear me down, and it's like, I don't know how to stop it before I'm mildly pissed off. I'm shocked that that Pedro says that he is in a mildly pissed off state, because he comes across so calm, cool, and collected.
And happy.
Yes, and happy all the time. It just
Yeah.
doesn't come through at all. I feel like it kind of is right on the edge of me, and people are picking up on it, and I've got to stuff it down.
Greg operates there also, and he also shows up because we were literally just talking about this morning before we started here. But he shows up as very calm, cool, collected. But he's like, no, I'm pretty much mildly pissed off. And I'm like, oh. And then he can get pissed. No, he can. And I know when he was younger, like when I first met him, we went to his folks' house, and he showed me the closet door on the inside had a hole on the sliding fake wood doors, had a hole on the inside. And he's like, come here, I'll show you something. And he showed me that. And I'm like, what the heck is that? And he goes, I actually, when I was a kid, got really pissed off, punched this door, and then took both doors off and turned them backwards so my folks would know. I'm like, do they know you? No. I'm like, oh my gosh. But he doesn't show up that way. But inside, so my question to you, PF, I guess, is I know my husband inside is like wound really tight, and nobody knows it. Are you wound really tight inside also? The curiosity?
Oh my gosh, yeah. It is yeah, it's I'm always in this constant like tugging situation.
Mhm.
That it's like, how do I calm myself down? So which is why I also have a hard time journaling, because my handwriting is illegible.
Oh, hey,
Because
because
I'm
that's
so wound up and I
Yeah.
cramp up. So part of working with you all, I keep giving you all the credit. So please bear with me. Is helping me. I've been working for years on accepting myself for writing so poorly.
Oh, you just should have
And-
been a doctor, sweetie.
Huh?
You just should have been a doctor, sweetie.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that I wanted to be when I was a little kid.
So my
Well,
handwriting,
And I'm smart enough to be a doctor. I just didn't want to go through the schooling. And I don't agree with the fact that doctors are put through 24-hour rotation just because.
yeah,
Back in the day, like in the 40s and stuff like that, when the AMA was started, doctors needed to clock in that many hours to be able to see that many patients and get experience. But now, with so many people and trauma centers and stuff like that, you can get exposures to stuff in 8 hours,
yeah,
but you used to get in 24 hours before.
Yeah.
Anyways,
that makes sense.
they're not gonna listen to me anyways. So I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
You're awesome.
Yeah.
And of course you're smart enough to do it. And my handwriting, my kids, my husband still cannot read it. My children interpret, my grown children interpret my handwriting for him. And I sent a letter to my daughter recently, and my daughter had a friend, and her friend said, what is she like, in the 1800s or something? And I'm like, because of the handwriting, right?
Yeah.
And and I have like 5 levels of handwriting. I'm really, really, really in a hurry, and I can't read that myself. I take my time, and and it flows and all that, and I spend time doing it, and that's decent. And then I write on diagonals across things, and and it's so it's not legible. My Homework for Life book that I keep is I type it. It's on my iPad, and I type it out so that I can actually so that I can see what it is.
Yeah. So I've been working for a long time in accepting my handwriting, and because you three put up so many worlds of wisdom daily that I created a notebook called Desk Notes.
Yes, no.
So I remember to keep it at my desk here,
Uh-huh.
so that when you say something really cool, let's see, something like 2 days ago, I think it was, or last week, you said what to post. Think of 10 things people don't know about you. Oh, that was somebody else. Sorry.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, like you said, I don't try to fail, but I welcome it.
Ah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so, and the more I fail, the more I, see, I can't even, the more I grow. The more I
Yeah.
fail, the more I grow.
Yeah.
So, that's why I have that here at my desk. And
I love that.
Yeah.
I have, whenever I go to any training class or anything like that, I have one section, ahas. And I was joking the other day because sometimes it's funny. It's funny looking back. It didn't feel funny when it happened, but I call it, so those I'm like ahas. But ahas, and I just keep a running thing of ahas. And if I need inspiration, I can go back to that, and it just like has a trainer's name and then has everything they taught me and then the next trainer and what they taught me and the next trainer. So I can also go back if I ever wanted to the person, and I could do some more, like take their classes. And I did that trying to, at Keller Williams, they put, when you go to the big convention, family reunion, I think billions of different trainers, the EXP does the same thing. And I wanted to learn the good trainers, and the not so good ones I don't go back to. But the good trainers are good. And so I want to have their name in my head, so when I see it, I can go, oh, good, I want to go back to that class. But I love keeping it all in one place because it gives you this great reference. What a great idea with Desk Notes, PF. That's really fabulous. I think that's the
Well,
win.
yeah, that's a win. Thank you.
No, for us too.
Oh, yes, yeah,
That's
definitely.
good. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good one.
yeah. It's inspired by you guys, by the three of you.
Mr. Slightly Mildly Pissed Off guy, you inspire us.
Yes, you
Oh,
do.
thank you.
So
I
Yeah.
don't mean to switch the subject, but I need to make this comment if I may. Bree, I love your carport. I am jealous because I live on the 3rd floor and my car is exposed to the weather all the time. And my next house, or my dream house, it has to have a garage or something covered that is attached to the house, and I don't have to get out of the house into the weather and into my car.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a 1950s ranch size ranch style home, and the carport can fit 3 cars.
Oh, that's
Wow.
great.
That is
And it
nice.
looks like you're right next to the kitchen. It's like you walk out of the
It
car.
is.
into
I
the
walk
kitchen.
into the rec room and it's right next to the kitchen.
Grocery cart.
Yeah, and there's literally 1 step in the entire house.
Oh, that's nice.
Wow.
My mom looked at a house one time and it was just mass steps to get to the house. And it was always my job to carry in the groceries. And I remember distinctly going, hell no, I'm not doing that. And so I actually was like, I don't know, 12 or 14 or something. And I nixed the house, which I maybe shouldn't want it also, but whatever. But I was like, I'm not doing that 8 million steps. And then Greg and I, when we lived in San Francisco, you literally have where you park your car down here and you walk up 50, 75 steps, 100 steps to get to where the house is, and it's all over. So there were many situations like that where we were just like, oh God, no. And then there were other situations that I actually wanted a couple of the houses, and Greg nixed it because you park on the roof. So the house is built on the hill, on the side of the hill, the outside of the hill, and here's where you park. And then you go into the house and down, and you live down here. And Greg's like, I am not having my car above my bedroom, living room, kitchen, whatever. I'm not doing it. But they do it all the time. That you have to, because things like this, So
Wow.
yeah, really good. And then another one he nixed. So it's called Snake Road. It's awesome. So it's above Oakland. and you get to see the entire world. But the only way to get there is this road that goes like this. I mean, it's just this crazy, twisty back, windy road. And Greg took one look at it, and I did not tell him the history of that area. And what the history is, he nixed it because he said a fire truck could never get up there. He's right. What the history is in San Francisco, they brought in a bunch of eucalyptus trees. Eucalyptus trees are from Australia, and the koala bears, those trees, and they drip oil. They're an oily tree, right? And they brought in tons of them because they grow really fast. And they thought, well, the hillside, I don't know why they thought this, but the hillside, which had been there for forever, we need trees and roots to hold that hillside. Well, what happens with eucalyptus trees is one bit of lightning or anything, and the whole thing goes up sky high. And some of the worst fires ever in San Francisco area, not the Great Fire not the one that you hear about all the time, but the other fires have been from some small spark starting it, and it just races through the eucalyptus trees and burns everything. And you can't get in and you can't get out because the twisty, curvy road still to this day is 1 car length wide, and that's it. And it's literally this. It's called Snake Road.
I have a picture of it.
Do you?
Yeah, I have an artist picture of that road. It's Lowry Road or Loudon Road or
Oh,
something.
Lombardy.
Like that. Lombardy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lombardy
And
Road. I have a
Lombardy-
picture of it.
Yeah, Lombardy is, or Lombard, whatever it is. Anyway, it's like this, and all it is a switchback, and it's
Yeah.
3 houses wide all the way down. And they finally closed it. But when you go down that hill, and then I got to jump on my call with David. When we went down to the first time in a pickup truck, you go down, you make the first corner, and the back end of our pickup truck would come and slide around and slap up against the curb. And then you go around the next corner, and the back end of the pickup truck would slam against the next curb. And that's how you go down it. Literally, because it's that steep and it's just hairpin all the way down. It's, I don't know, 8 hairpins or something like that. So yeah,
Lombardy Street.
that's where I had not there, but Washington State has the same type of thing where we lived right on the coast, and it's like this. And I learned to drive a stick in this.
Wow,
And-
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Gotta be good at a stick in that.
Yeah.
Yep, you can. I'm really good at, I don't use the brake. I burn through things, but I don't use the brake. I'm just doing this because that's the easiest way for me to be able to do it rather than 3-pedaling it or the emergency brake trick. But it's a lot of this and being able to hold the car. Because if you're the first car at the light, you're here. But if you're the second car at the light, you're here. And there is no way. And the idiot behind you, because no one drives sticks, is right up on your butt. You're just like, all right, here we go. So anyway, all right. I appreciate you guys so much. Your willingness to get real and vulnerable and all those kinds of things is what really makes us grow. PF, you are a doll. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bree,
Thank
you
you
look
all.
gorgeous. Have an amazing day. Kay, get your assistants back to work. All right, y'all. See you later.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.